Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only Cardinal podcast that, like Andrés Galarraga, had more success after leaving St. Louis for Denver. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined by my co-host, Ben Samorta.
I like that. That was well researched and thought out. That was solid.
If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. And thank you to the contributor who sent that in via text message. That was from a couple weeks ago, but is what I've been meaning to get into the show. Obviously shot straight at you, who you left St. Louis for Denver like Andrés Galarraga.
Yep.
Very low bar to clear. You were... it's a bit of a shit show when you left, but would you say you've had more success in Denver than St. Louis?
What is success,
You're doing this. I mean, let's think about it. We were actually doing the show when you left.
Yeah.
And then we took like an 8-year break, maybe more than that. And then we started doing the show again. So in many ways, you're kind of right back. You're still talking to me over some web app about the St. Louis Cardinals. So
treading water for 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. My feelings aren't hurt. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, we know your.
But there's a lot of. You have to know where I'm from. I was impressed by that. That was a decent one.
Ben likes being included. So if you have an idea for an opening bit, I mean, it was just a nice one. We generally call for almost all of our opening bits are insults to ourselves and insults about the show. And other than, implying that you were not successful when you were in St. Louis before, it's overall just a nice opening bit about Ben, which I didn't like saying, but I have to respect the game. I mean, what a pull there of connecting you to Andrés Galarraga.
Yeah, and I don't even think I remember that Andrés Galarraga played for the Cardinals, so that made it even more fun. But it's like, what is success? Am I more successful? I was more successful at acquiring barbecue when I lived in Missouri than I am now. Not a lot of great barbecue out here in Colorado.
Air's too thin.
I am now more successful at being higher above sea level than I was back then.
You're more successful at being a complaining little bitch when you come to St. Louis about the heat.
Weren't you the one that was also complaining about the heat? Aren't you guys going through some type of heat wave or something?
I am complaining about it right now, but that's for a very different reason. So you challenged me to something. Sort of, I'd say a co-challenge. Like I could have very easily said no, but I also benefit from this sort of thing. So I jumped on board. We've talked about on the show for a while now. Ben and I both participate in running as a recreational exercise sort of thing. We'll do 5Ks and we've each done a handful of half marathons over the last 3 or 4 years. And I work better with a deadline, with something to hold myself accountable to. So last week, Hambone said, what if we do a 30-day 5K challenge, meaning do a 5K every day for 30 days straight, which sounds as bad as it is, by the way. Like, and I said, sure, because I also, like I said, I'm a masochist. And I did not realize that the upcoming was a real heat wave here in St. Louis. True humidity, just awful. It's awful here right now. In the middle of the day.
Yeah,
which is exactly when I only have time to run. So I've been going out there and running. There are we're getting warnings like, don't go outside, be careful. And I'm out there, like I had one of my worst times ever yesterday because it's just so horrible out. So yes, I have been complaining about the heat too, but that's because I'm doing performance athletics in it, not just drinking a Bud Light apple or whatever you like.
I do love a Bapple. Yeah, it's we're spoiled here. It's today, right now, it's 85 degrees outside. There's a cool breeze, and we have, I think, 12% humidity. Yeah, I'm fine with being soft when I come back to St. It's fine with me. It's you've chosen to live in a swamp town, so you get what you get.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. It's almost like the more expensive places to live have better environments.
Yeah, there is obviously a
What's your
tax.
mortgage though? What's your
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Too much.
Yes. So we are both though. We've been doing it. We're 7 days in. We're like 25% of the way done.
Yeah, day 7. I do have a pretty interesting blister on my left foot that decided to pop this morning
Gross.
as I was running. But I'm enjoying it. I feel weirdly good. I am shocked. I figured that I would be like puking in a corner or my legs would be crippled or something like that, but I'm feeling weirdly good so far. We'll see how it continues.
Weird how consistent exercise just kind of makes you feel better.
No. I hate that that's true.
I know.
The fact that eating well and exercising actually works is horseshit.
It drives me crazy. And I'm also fighting it because I've got here a giant bag of Haichu that I bought the other day.
Ooh.
I'm justifying it like I'm running a lot, I need to keep those carbs up. So I'm just crushing these Haichus. And I love an individually wrapped item.
I want to produce as much trash
just make it as
possible.
Just make it as shitty for everyone as possible. It's annoying for me to open, and then it's just little guys everywhere. But this is the fantasy Haichu.
Wow. Sounds
they
sexy.
like blended a couple flavors together.
I bet they did.
Yes.
Sick perverts.
We're following the Haichu beat pretty heavily here on the show ever since
we really are.
Have you had there's a Haichu premium somewhere out there. I was looking for them the other day. I couldn't find them, but apparently, it's a premium Haichu experience.
I am now on the hunt though. Consider that. Yeah, that is interesting.
Let me know if you find some. I almost bought some Shaq Snacks the other day, but they were like green apple or something like that. Not a preferred candy flavor for me.
I feel like Shaq doesn't have a great reputation when it comes to putting his name on food.
Quality control. Yeah.
He's
definitely taking the more is more approach of just like, I'm just going to put my name on everything and you decide if it's good or not.
Right. But people keep paying him money to do that. So
he's a likable guy.
Is he?
I don't know. I have a collection of over 300 of his basketball cards in my
That's very cool, Nate. That's very, very cool.
Thank you. I think it's cool too.
Yeah.
It's definitely a cool thing that cool people do. Carry around childhood collections of.
Yep. Hopping on that same bandwagon. I agree.
What's your favorite candy flavor?
Candy flavor?
We'll keep it simple. Like you're rolling a pack of Starburst or something like that. Like you've got your traditional colors,
Yeah, probably across all candies. I'm not saying that this is my favorite individual, but like across all candies, I'm always gonna like orange. Give me that orange.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Orange Starburst, good. Orange Skittles, good. Orange soda, good. All that.
True.
Orange Runts, good.
I have some orange soda in the fridge. I got I almost never am an impulse buy guy, but I bought the Fallout Nuka-Cola Jones Soda crossover pack that they were selling at Costco. If you're a Fallout fan, you know what I'm talking about. And they did a crossover with Jones Soda, which I like, and it had some orange soda in there, so I love a good.
I love orange soda.
Yeah. Who loves orange soda?
Hell loves orange soda. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah. So I didn't really want it, but we were circling it anyway for. Okay. I mean, we know most of our listeners. Most of them probably know what we're referencing there, as we just slowly age and decay. I think red is my favorite answer, or my favorite answer, my favorite flavor there.
Red is not a flavor, my friend.
Well, sure, but
No,
orange
you got to
is.
pick if it's straw. No, orange is a color, but it is obviously a fruit as well. You dumb
all right,
bitch.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's cherry or strawberry. Okay. All right.
Let's move on. This is good. We're having fun here, folks. Well, should we talk about the Cardinals? Or do you got any other dumb stuff you want to talk
about? I got one of those lemons races this week, and we'll see if I return.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. What's your theme?
We kind of don't have a theme. We're kind of doing. We've had some car issues.
Okay.
We're trying to dress and behave in the style of Gen Z kids. So it's a bunch of like late 30s, early 40s. You should see the outfit.
Cringiest possible decision you guys could have made.
That's kind of the whole point.
But so that's why you were asking for Gen Z music though the other day in a group chat.
Building a playlist. Yep.
Yeah.
So I have all my Y2K gear. I'll post some photos in the Birdscord. It's pretty bad. It's really bad.
There's no good the best version of that outcome is deeply annoying. You know what I mean?
That's what we are going for. We're trying to be annoying.
Okay. Well, at least you're aware.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying Gen Z is annoying. I'm saying people dressing like Gen Z is annoying.
Yeah. This is a half-assed, half-baked, very slapped together theme. But I think we can be annoying and bring it home, and that's really what this is all about.
I think most of our listeners would agree. Well, good luck. I hope that your engine doesn't explode and fire a piston at you again or whatever. We're all hoping that doesn't happen.
Me too. Really crossing my fingers on that one.
You'll have to let us know how it goes next week. All right, let's talk about your St. Louis Cardinals. It's so funny riding the wave that we do, the week over
everybody was so down. Everybody was like, we're done.
Sell the team.
Sell the team. Trade this guy. Trade that guy. We should do a blood sacrifice. That's the only way that we can pull. And guess what? You just had to be a little patient. And who told you it was going to be fine? That's right. This podcast right here.
Yeah, that's right. Come on. Did we? Get him, Ben. Get him.
Did we? I don't remember our take last week. I feel like we were probably like exercise patients, though.
The benefit of my brain is that I forget everything I say within about a half an hour of saying it. So I think our take on last week was basically this team was always destined to have some struggles. So don't be surprised when there are periods of bad play. This entire season has been playing above expectations. So we have to be realistic and assume at some point these kids are going to slump and things are going to break. Like I think we were saying sequencing was very lucky for a little while, and then sequencing was quite unlucky over that period. And then here we are. The Cardinals have won 5 in a row. They are 36-28. I believe the high water mark of the season has been 9 games above 500. And so we are 1 away from that after a humiliating defeat of the New York Mets as they continue to make us all proud.
What a club. They are just they're sad.
Yeah.
And I expect to win. We're recording on Wednesday. I expect to win the game this evening too. Just the offense kind of taking over and punishing the Mets. And the Mets not really showing up. I feel good about our position to keep smashing these Mets.
Yeah, we'll talk about Nootbaar here in a moment, but it's exactly what we were saying. It's amazing how much better this lineup looks with him in there and just pushing everything down and with Walker and Burley and all these guys. They're like, this is a legit, like the top 5 of the lineup is very legit, and even the bottom of it is not ideal. We'll talk about that some more, but they're the bench is working. Like there's a lot working on the offense side, and the pitching just has to be okay for this version of the team to be successful.
Right.
And it has been. So why don't we get into some of the details from the last week? The offense has certainly been fueled by Jordan Walker and Alec Burleson. Starting with Walker, we had during that last period, he had striking out a ton. I think we had at one point, he had 7 strikeouts in a row. And then I think it's enough to call it a pattern now. We start to see it. He starts to make better contact. That usually shows itself in the form of screaming singles. Screaming singles sounds like a great Friday night.
I assume that's because you have showed up to the club with a bomb strapped to you, and you're finally enacting your revenge.
There's like one positive way to interpret screaming singles, and everything else is like a real horror show. So I didn't like it when I said it, and we're here now.
Oh God!
But yes, that's the one I was thinking of.
Nady's revenge.
You shouldn't have said no to me in high school. Why are you all in this club?
Yikes.
They'll see. They'll all see.
Yeah, I bet they will.
So Jordan starts making better contact, starts hitting the ball hard, a little bit down, but he hits it so hard. He starts, we had a couple of those 3-hit games. And then the power starts to follow.
Yeah.
And then that seems to be the cycle. He's still a high strikeout guy. There's going to be periods of high strikeouts, but we've seen it enough times now, man. Like, again, I don't know what what will be the end of the day, like sort of static Jordan Walker that we can expect for, the foreseeable future, but it's becoming more and more like he's going to hit around 300 with real power. And it's just, I'm still not over the excitement of it. I don't know that I'll ever be, but I've seen him bounce back enough now to think that the changes were not just, he's probably never going to be like the first 2 weeks of the season again, where he hit 8 home runs in like 11 games or whatever.
Sure.
But what we've seen in the last 2 months, it's pretty great. So, this week, is really starting to solidify that for me.
Yeah, I think it's more of the same. And I think that, we talked about this a month or so ago, but I think that with the changes that he's made mechanically, with what we see as far as like the StatCast data and the exit velocity data, the bat path data, all of that stuff, we know that what he's done is made a real change to his game. And then I think if you just watch the games like we do every night, is the at-bats just look better. You can't argue that the at-bats are better. Even though the walk rate hasn't like shot up or anything like that, the strikeout rate is at a level that you can survive. But you just they look less helpless. They look like there's a plan. They look like he has a thought process of how guys are going to attack him. And then you take in those crazy StatCast numbers, and if you have the fastest swing in baseball, you make contact every once in a while, and your BABIP is going to probably carry higher than anybody else in the league, or most other
players
in the league. He's fast, so he can beat out those ground balls, or he can turn a single into a double, or a double into a triple, or whatever it might be. I think that well, by the way, he's still only 24. It's not like we're not talking about a 28-year-old that figured it out. He still hasn't even gotten like enough reps and come into his actual prime. So I think there's a lot of juice left to squeeze. And there will be some short fallow periods, but I think we are looking more and more like we might have a 30-30 season coming from Jordan Walker. He's got 16 home runs, which is tied with his career high. He's got 10 stolen bases, which is tied with a career high. We still have 2/3 of the season left. So even if you take into account a low period as far as power is concerned, I think 30-30 is in the realm of possibility. And I think that we got a little all-star out there in right field all of a sudden. It's just
You
I
know,
feel
that,
very good saying that.
yeah, all-star specifically, that is now becoming a topic of conversation. There's obviously no doubt from a performance standpoint that Walker deserves to be on the all-star team. We'll see if he is good enough or if the breakout has burst into the general population enough for him to win the popularity contest side of the whole thing. And the reality is almost all the best players in the NL are also outfielders. So he's got a lot to overcome there from that standpoint to like win the vote and be the starter. But I'm almost certain he'll be one of the first selected on the as soon as there's dropouts and all that. I think he will end up being an all-star this year, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to make, is that he does have some pretty stiff competition, especially and specifically right field, not just the outfield. Corbin Carroll also exists. James Wood also
Yeah.
exists. Like there's Ronald Acuna Jr. exists. There are some big names over
Yeah.
there in right field. But I expect him to make the team. I think there's this aspect of like, I guess in baseball circles specifically, we have been hearing this name for a long time. He's about as famous as you can get without having popped statistically, and now he's doing that. I think he's probably got close to the best name recognition on the Cardinals outside of Nootbaar, and obviously he's an international superstar, so it's a different thing. But I hope he does. I think it'd be really fun. He should.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll get chosen. I really think he will be one of the first picked when people start dropping out, Now, whether he plays or whatever, we'll see. That is what it is. But I think he will. And then I assume, I like to think it'll be a run of many selections over the coming years. We're actually really, we're like 20 games from the halfway point, So I don't know that he's going to get to 30-30. He has been more aggressive on the base paths lately. So maybe we'll get to that 30 stolen base number, but either way, the 30 home run marker sure seems knock on wood here. But he's well above pace for that at least.
I think he's going to do it, Nate. I'm saying it today.
Yeah.
June 10th. I think he's going to make it to 30-30. But yeah, there's a lot of work to do. 20 stolen bases and 14 home runs is not easy.
Right. That is a good season in its own right by many players. So, but it just goes to show you the complete change in expectations that 2.5 months of really good baseball does to a player. We're like, can he get to 30-30 is not a conversation I was expecting us to have, in March.
No,
didn't have that on my 2026 bingo card.
That's a good joke. I like that.
Yeah, thanks. I made it myself. Also call out Burley, who's been an overall steady presence in the lineup. But you can see it. He just gets in these periods where he's just locked in, and it's like no one can throw a ball past this guy. He struggles with lefties still, but when he's on, it's like got to be one of the most annoying guys to pitch to in baseball.
He can hit the high ball. He can hit the outside ball. He can turn. I don't know if I can ever remember a player being able to hit the high fastball out for a homer like Burley can when he's hot.
That one he had the other night, he's like swinging up,
it's wild how he can do it. He is fun to watch, and I just like watching Burley play baseball. He also has an over 1,100 OPS in June right now. Like,
pretty good.
There are a lot of other good things happening for the Cardinals during this 5-game win streak and this little hot run that they're on right now. But watching Burley and Walker bash together has been really, really fun. They're two very different styles of hitter, even though they're both super successful. Like Burley, obviously being a lefty, super contact oriented, and Jordan being a Greek god of baseball pounding. I think it should be even though there has been kind of those ups and downs to Burley's season, if you look at the chart for the best first baseman in the National League right now, according to fWAR, it goes Matt Olson, who is having a very nice year for the Braves, who are having a very nice season
Yes, they are.
altogether. Just they're on fire right now. Freddie Freeman, heard of him. And then Alec Burleson is number 3 going by fWAR for first baseman right now. He's above Michael Bush. He's above Bryce Harper. He's above Sal Stewart and Andrew Vaughn and the rookie of the month, TJ Rumfeld for your Colorado Rockies. Some big names. You know, he's doing stuff. And I wonder, he might be tagged for an all-star seat this summer too. I don't know, but watching those two guys swing at the same time has been a lot of fun. Since you and I last talked, they have a combined 19 hits. So they're just kind of hitting everything all over the place all of the time. It's been really good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You just said hitting at the same time, and I was just thinking about, like, what if you had a left-handed batter and a right-handed batter up at the exact same time? And that was a version of the game. That'd be fun.
I feel like they would break each other's wrists by swinging at the same. What you would want if you're the pitcher, you throw such a meatball down the middle, both of them swing and then kill each other.
Well, that would be part of the game, is that, like, the two have to, like, who's gonna swing?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you tempt them too much, though, they might accidentally self-destruct. That's my strategy going into this.
There you go. That'd be part of the game. Did they self-destruct?
Alec Burleson, you take the top half of the zone. Walker, you take the bottom half of the zone.
Now we're game planning.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so then the best pitch would be right down the middle, so their bats connect, and
broken wrists.
Yeah, chaos ensues.
This is a good idea.
This is a good idea. On the show, we're not just talking about the game as it is. We're innovators. We're visionaries. We're seeing the future of the game.
And if you out there, listener, didn't realize that, sorry.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Okay.
All right, we're running down what's working. We've talked about Dustin May a lot over the last couple weeks, as have most Cardinal fans. The heater continues.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this. It was reported by Bob Nightingale, very well regarded, always accurate reporter. Everyone loves him. That the Cardinals still intend to trade Dustin May and JoJo Romero, which is not surprising.
No.
We've talked about it. And with that in mind, it's like, let's enjoy the show while we have it. I do think trading him makes the most sense. There's arguments for other, but I think the most optimal thing is likely to trade him. So every good start we get out of him right now is both helping this fun winning team, but also increasing that value for what could be a pretty seismic trade deadline for the Cardinals if Dustin May, JoJo, Stanek, all these guys continue to pitch like they have. The trade deadline is not what it used to be, outside of the Athletics somehow getting Leo DeVries at the deadline last year.
You catch the right team feeling desperate in the right situation. You never know.
Yeah, and to be fair to that deal, like, Mason Miller has been incredible. So
yes.
He
is amazing.
Yeah, they did get, like, years of control of maybe the best pitcher in baseball, at least in a single inning. But so the days of, though, like a starting pitcher rental getting you a true blue chip prospect is a lot less likely now. But I don't know, a package of May and JoJo going to a contender, like, that is an immediate boost. And they're, like you said, the Padres love slinging prospects, and Dodgers have good prospects too. Their pitching's always weird. They're not afraid to go all in. So you never know. You certainly you want to be in this spot, though, if you're going to trade. And it will be a bummer in the moment, especially if the Cardinals are still winning as far as that goes. But I do think it's likely, almost regardless of record, the right thing for the Cardinals to do.
Yeah, I think I would love to have the story of Dustin May sticking around, signing an extension, leading the Cardinals on the charge to their new run of success. But the fact of the matter is that he's 28. He signed for relatively cheap. The most innings he has ever thrown in a season, other than last year, he's coming up on that right now. He hit 130 innings last year. He's sitting somewhere close to, you said 72 innings thrown this year. That is the most by a good margin any other year outside of last year in the big leagues. So this guy's often injured. You've clearly helped him improve his game, his numbers under the hood and kind of everywhere you look are really solid. So I think flipping a guy that you signed for $12.5 million for pretty much any player in any organization with a ton of control or a couple of players is just it's a boon for the team. And I think the Cardinals have shown an ability to find players throughout other teams' orgs that we can all be excited about. We talked about Yoikir Fajardo a week or so ago. Like, even if you trade Dustin May and you get a 19 or 20 year old phenom pitcher that we're not going to see for a few years, that's a boon for the team, and that's something that we need to do. And I think we talked about this last week or the week previous. We can always re-sign Dustin May after the season if you really want to. You want to bring him back into the fold, and he wants to come back. But you kind of have to do this deal. You kind of have to do the same deal with JoJo Romero, Ryan Stanek, obvious. If you can get a top 100 prospect for some version of a package of these guys, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen from a trade standpoint. But if you can just go get some interesting players from other orgs for guys who are not a part of the future, you kind of have to. It'd be almost negligent to not go out and be opportunistic. And we have no reason to think that Bloom and the Goons are not going to do all of that anyways.
I know. I'm trying to think it certainly feels like there is some sort of number in the standings, in the record, that would make you switch the flip to like, all right, never mind. We're not necessarily going to go all in, but we're not going to sell. We're going to let this play out and see where it goes. You'll start to hear the language of, we're going to reward this team by keeping it together.
I would think that would have to come from ownership, because I would imagine that even with, other than specifically the play of Jordan Walker, who I do not think that the front office's projections had Jordan Walker putting up 2.5 WAR at this point in the season and 16 homers. I would imagine that their preseason projections for their own players' performance have not adjusted all that much based on what we've seen. And I would be very surprised if they would make an adjustment to their plan right now to shoot for a playoff opportunity and undercut the future.
Well,
even with the standings being maybe making you think the other way.
Heim said as much himself during the blogger event we reported on last week, basically saying, like, we're having a lot of fun right now, but we're nowhere near what we want to be as an organization, which I think is the right take. We want this team to be one that's competing for a World Series every year and not one that is hoping to run a hot hand into a wild card spot, right?
I am having so much fun watching the Cardinals play this year.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the turns through the rotation and everything like that. But I think most people watching this team understand that the performance of the pitching staff is kind of a tightrope walk this year. Mm-hmm. It's been better than I thought it was going to be. Totally. Cardinals are 15th in MLB in ERA right now. But it feels lucky. It feels like it could implode. It feels like we have a pretty substantial part of this team relying on Dustin May not falling apart,
right?
And he's never done that before,
right?
But
the only thing I'll add, this has been discussed in the Birdscord, shout out Birdscord, is that the Cardinals have a very soft schedule for the next month also. So if they continue to play well, it will be a tough pill to swallow, I think, for a good fan base, a fan base that generally understands the situation, to see the Cardinals maybe sell if they are 10 to 12 games over 500. You know what I mean? Now, again, I'm not saying they shouldn't do that, but I don't think with the strength of schedule coming up and the quality of play that we've seen now consistently, like 60 games into the season, more than 60, 65 or whatever, they could be around that level. And then that's tough.
And ownership might step in at that point and say, I know, we're not trading Dustin May. And not trading Dustin May is not going to ruin the ascension of the young Cardinals. That one trade is not going to break them. It is not taking advantage of an opportunistic moment, though. But it would not ruin the rebuild by any means.
Right.
I also, and I hear that, and I agree with what the Birdscord was talking about. Like, that's great, this soft run of teams that we're about to play. But I also see a scenario where Kyle Leahy and Palante and McGreevy and Liberatore make those teams look pretty good against them. I don't want that to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is a card that is available to be drawn. Like that. That one, like, we know that all 4 of those guys could just trend the wrong direction. And if they do that for a month, even a couple of them for a month, the team looks a lot worse. Like I am very surprised at the performance that we're getting from specifically Leahy and Palante on a week-to-week basis. It's been, even with Leahy getting punched around a bit, it's been better than I would have expected.
But Dobbins looked great. So maybe, like,
that's another thing about the May trade. You trade May, you call in Dobbins. I'm not saying they're 1-to-1, but so far I feel pretty good about Hunter Dobbins taking a major league start.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. He came in to piggyback off of a rough Leahy start and gave 5 innings. Looked good all the way through. I'm excited. He's getting a start. Looks like the team is doing a 6-man rotation. And I think that makes sense, but I don't think it's the long term. It'll be May is gone and he takes that spot, or, maybe these piggybacks of Leahy, it ends up, he takes Leahy's spot or something like that. But yeah, what did you see out of Dobbins in the 5 innings?
I really like watching him pitch. It's fun. I think the breaking stuff is really good. I think the sinker, slider, curveball, those 3 pitches working together are great. I can't believe how much life he has on everything. The fastball's harder and the sinker moves more. Slider in particular moves more, has more bite than I expected it to. There's also, I like his mound presence. I just like watching. He seems to pitch maybe a little angry or a little intense, or like I'm not saying he's Max Scherzer, but there's a little bit of that attitude in it. But he is not making mistakes. His pitches are nasty. I mean, the results speak for himself. I mean, he's made 3 appearances and they've all been basically almost perfect. So I think it's great. Think about like what the Cardinals traded to get this guy, who we have a ton of control on. It's very, very exciting. He's 26. He's old for a prospect. It's kind of like, I haven't been following Hunter Dobbins his entire career. I'm kind of surprised he is only now having this all come together, but that's sometimes how prospects work out, and it's really benefiting the Cardinals. I'm a huge fan. He's going to get punched in the mouth here soon at some point, but so far,
well, he is a guy that had some prospect heat when he, a couple of years ago. So I think when he was around 23, 24, when he started to blow up from a prospect standpoint, and people knew who he was if you're in those sorts of circles, and the Red Sox were very excited about him. But then between injuries and lack of opportunity and some effectiveness, it's kind of a standard pitching thing. You could argue we've seen that with Liberatore, as a guy who's very highly regarded and just isn't putting it together, or is hurt, or whatever it may be. And then now 26, when he's in his physical prime, it's all coming together. It's like most pitchers aren't really good until they're in their mid-20s. There's obviously the phenoms of the young 20-year-old pitchers, but most, I don't know this for sure, but I wonder if you look at like the average age of like the most successful pitchers, it would be older than like
Sure. Yeah.
than hitters,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this start. The day this episode comes out, he's going to be starting against the Mets. Seems like he's just, like you said, a part of the rotation for the time being. I think that my guess is they'll do a turn or two of the 6-man rotation, and then a change is going to happen. Whether it's to protect an arm, whether it's due to ineffectiveness, whether it's due to a trade. I would be shocked if a trade happened this early, but for one reason or another, my bet is that they do a couple turns of this 6-man rotation. Hunter Dobbins keeps his spot because he's performing well. And then somebody who maybe isn't doing as well goes to AAA or moves to the bullpen or some combination of all that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and as we get closer and closer to July and trade talk starts happening more and more, you could see this world where, okay, like JoJo gets traded and that puts Leahy into the bullpen, and then Dobbins moves to that spot or something like that. Just as you start to remove these guys on the 1-year contract, all these spots open up a lot more.
And it's so funny. Like, we've talked about this a few times this season. Previously, I would have feel like I could have predicted how the front office was going to handle this situation. But with the moves that Bloom's front office has made this season, I don't really know what to like. How they're prioritizing, when they want to make the move, how aggressive they're going to be. It's been interesting. So, I'm digging it.
Well, let's talk about the bench a little bit, which for the first part of the season was basically a non-discussion. It was Pozo, and he never played. And now we're seeing Fermin, Velasquez, and Torres have really seemed to have currently at least locked in that sort of bench bat versatile role. I wouldn't necessarily call Velasquez versatile, but he's certainly a bench bat. It's looking like a pretty good bench. This offense, it's really keeping this offense going.
Yeah, I think that, big caveat, Velasquez has only had 20 plate appearances in the big so far, but he is rocking a 202 WRC plus. So
pretty good.
You do that for any number of at-bats or plate appearances, and you're not going to be mad about that. And I think, we've seen Fermin, he's gotten hot recently over the past, like in June at the very least, and maybe a little bit before that, he started to hit. He is actually going to be playing third base on Wednesday night for your St. Louis Cardinals. They're giving old Gormy a day off of his feet. And, obviously I'm rooting for Fermin. I think we see a high quality of at bat. We saw him start at short the other day, which is interesting. It, didn't blow up or anything like that. So everything went fine there. Happy with
great eye black. Do you like
he's always crying. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's
good.
He
looks like he's crying.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a warrior thing, right?
No, it's like his mascara is running. And I think that's nice. It's very dramatic and I appreciate it.
I'm sure that's what he thinks it looks like, is that his mascara is running.
Well, we know he listens, so we'll see if he changes for Thursday night's game.
I mean, I love the Cure, so I can get behind some, running mascara.
Who he could be a goth. Nobody knows. You don't know what his inner life is like.
I was behind a car the other day at a license plate that just said "Big Emo."
Big Emo. Pizza or emotional?
No, emo, like EMO.
Yeah. Too bad, because that could have been great. And then also, we talked about this before. Sajasi was sent down. I think, just the quality of at bat that Brian Torres gives you is super high. And he's been kind of sort of starting, kind of benching for a couple of weeks now, and I don't think he's going to make an all-star team or he's going to lift a job from anybody else, but I think he is a really solid quality bench bat. He's played second base a couple of times. He can play in the outfield. I kind of really like him as this little guy that's a hard out.
Yeah.
He's
it's fun.
Great.
It's another one of these like, I didn't have this on my 2026 bingo card. Yeah, we'll see. There's a chance it gets overexposed, but certainly a more interesting bench bat than what we had seen recently, and seems more usable on this team.
Yeah. And I think like this is a guy, and I like Sajacy. I don't think Sajacy is like career is over or anything like that. He'll figure it out, and I think he'll start hitting again. He's a pretty toolsy guy. But having a guy that can come off the bench or spot start at second or left or right or whatever, put together 3 or 4 good at bats or not look totally helpless, is a huge benefit over what we were seeing.
Yeah.
And it's just like more aesthetically pleasing also, which is not for nothing, in my opinion.
We also learned from the Birdscord, which we keep talking about, he was a catcher at Independent Ball. So there you go.
Sorry, Pedro.
Sorry, Pedro. Torres is your emergency catcher. Just makes sense.
Yeah. When Urias comes back, I know he just had a setback. I do wonder, is if all 3 of these guys are hitting, is it going to be Pedro? I don't know. Probably not. They like him, but he's not impacting the club as much as he used to pre-Jimmy Crooks.
Yeah. Well, the unfortunate reality too is it Gorman?
Well, let's talk about it. They don't, whatever they're paying you, Nate, it's not enough.
It's when we predicted that we were talking about range of outcomes for this season, I was like, no one saw the Walker thing coming, of course, especially not like this.
No, I don't know if we said this last week, but even Bloom admitted, he was like, we had no idea what was going to happen. We just liked the process behind the scenes. Even the guys with all the information were surprised by this outcome.
Yeah. For every, like, the reality was that there was always going to be, when we looked at the guys that were like the big lottery tickets, the guys that we wanted to break out, I'm thinking Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, Victor Scott, basically, is who I have in my head for that sort of thing. The unfortunate reality is always going to be, the most likely thing is that none of them become all-stars. And then the second most likely thing is like one of them breaks out and the other's down. The unfortunate reality is that seems to be the case right now. Our monkey's paw of, we've gotten the true Jordan Walker breakout has the trade-off, even though I know none of this makes sense, that they're all individual performances in their own right. Seems to be that maybe Gorman and Scott are on their way out. We'll talk about Scott in a minute. I still think he could come back, but the body of work for Gorman, it's getting harder and harder as like the chief Gorman like marketing guy, I think, for the last like year and a half. I'm having a harder and harder time to be like, no, he's the guy. Yeah. You've got some numbers. You want to run it? You want to run us through these numbers?
Yeah. So I was just trying to I was thinking, I was watching a Nolan Gorman at bat, and it was going poorly. And I was just thinking to myself, like, where does he rank in the league as far as like just strikeouts and like trying to figure out his quality of at bat and everything like that? And I found something interesting that I thought was worth bringing up on the podcast, and it's Nolan Gorman focused. So of the top 10 qualified hitters in Major League Baseball this year, the top 10 highest strikeout percentages this year, Nolan Gorman, maybe unsurprisingly, finds himself in that group of players. He is number 9 with almost a 32% K rate, which is obviously not that great. He also has a decent walk rate, 11% of these group of guys. He's basically like smack dab in the middle. But what I found really interesting is that out of those 10 guys, those 10 hitters, 8 of them have a WRC plus above 100, meaning that I think, kind of defying conventional logic, these guys who are all striking out over 30% of the time, 8 of the 10 have a WRC plus
Yeah.
Over 100. Now, Spencer Torkelson only has a 101, but that is above average. And if you're curious, Nolan Gorman's is at 72. And really, so it's Nolan Gorman and Adolis Garcia. You remember him. He's number 6 on the ranking with a 32.5% strikeout rate on the season. And I guess just if you're curious, you don't want to look it up yourself. Garrett Mitchell is leading this for the Brewers. He has a 35.9, essentially a 36% strikeout rate with a 116 WRC plus and a BABIP that is not going to stick around for a while. So that will sink.
Yeah.
But looking at all this, yeah.
You know what it is, I think, Hambone, is it's survivorship bias. So you said qualified hitters.
Yes.
Right? So the only guys that are still in the league that have a strikeout rate this high are able to be productive above and beyond that strikeout rate. And Adolis, Adolis is the only one, and he has a track record. Well, because when they make contact, they hit the ball really hard generally, and that has good. Yeah,
really hard. Exactly. So of this group of top 10, and really, if I'm just looking at the list, going all the way down to Nolan Gorman's isolated slugging is 126. And if I'm going down, I have to go down to Brett Beatty at number 24 on the strikeout percentage hierarchy to get to somebody that has a lower isolated slugging. And that is really a stat that is just telling you how many extra base hits they're getting out of their overall production. And it kind of isolates it away from on base percentage and that kind of thing. So all of these guys, you look at Kyle Schwarber, a 329 isolated, O'Neal Cruz, 208. And like I said, Nolan Gorman, 126. So he has gotten, like you said, a ton of opportunity. He is surrounded by other guys who are swinging often, missing often, but slugging. And I think he has just proven over the 61 games this season that the slug is not consistent enough to show up. And you kind of have to be a Munetaka Murakami or a Hunter Goodman or a Kyle Schwarber or an O'Neal Cruz type guy. Like, it's only a very small handful of players that can actually function like this. And maybe Nolan Gorman is not one of those players.
Unfortunately, we now have literally over 1,000 at bats or plate appearances. What is it, like 1,300, 1,400 of Nolan Gorman, with the vast majority of it being unsuccessful. There are streaks. 3 weeks ago, we were like, look out, here he comes. We're talking at that ex-Woba, and it's like he got the worst version of it. Is he got the underlying metrics, but he never got the surface stats, and then now the underlying metrics are falling down again, and the surface stats are still not there. So we didn't even get the benefit of the heater that Gorman is capable of going on. I think he has made himself a serviceable third baseman, which has helped his overall value. But I think the cold reality of it is that there's just nobody else available. If there was some sort of hot shot third base prospect, I think he'd probably be here already. Urias would maybe be the starter right now if he hadn't gotten hurt. That probably isn't true though, because that's not. I think the gambling, you'd rather just keep rolling Gorman out there and see if something finally happens than just playing your rental third baseman. But if there was like an actual third base prospect that it was raking in the minors, I think we'd see him right now. But there just really isn't. There's basically one offensive prospect right now that looks like maybe near ready for MLB, and he's an outfielder. So so
I'm not saying it will never happen.
Yeah.
Players can always adjust and something may click.
Well, we saw it with Walker.
Of evidence. I just wonder if a trip to the minors or doing something different would feel better for me. I don't know what it is exactly, and I'm not trying to prescribe anything, but doing something different I think might benefit everybody.
Yeah. Having him be in the 7 or 8 hole though feels a lot better than 5 or 6.
Very happy with that adjustment. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. All right, we've had a number of transactions over the last week as well. Many of them we've kind of already gotten to, but first and foremost, Newt is finally back.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, it's Newt. Who doesn't love it? He said something interesting at the end of the first game. He was interviewed by the cat on the field, and he was like, "This is the longest I've been on my feet in probably 12 months or something like that." And so it's like, man, he has really gone through some recovery. But what he said was, "This is the first game though I've had in a very long time where it's ending and my feet don't hurt." So you're like, yeah, like that's how bad it was, is that his feet hurt at the end of every game, that's not normal. I know it's a sport, but their feet don't normally hurt after any one normal game. So you can see what a dramatic improvement that must be for him. So that's cool. He's doing what he does. Obviously, we're in a very small, very, very small sample size, but you can't be upset with his early results. So it's just good to have him back.
Yeah, hit a homer. He's hit a couple of balls super hard already.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they slotted him into the 5th spot. I think I would maybe argue to have him lead off just because he is that Newt and he's done it before, and I like that idea. But him kind of, they're continuing the left, right, with him being after Walker. I don't have a ton of complaints about that. And yeah, you talked about this at the top of the episode, but you look and all the way 1 through 6, you feel really good about. And then you have Jimmy Crooks and Nathan Church who have some ceiling to them that we don't really know yet, but it's a pretty stout looking lineup all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, and like you get down to that, like if you're gonna have some positions that are defensive specialists with hopefully offensive upside, catcher and center field is kind of exactly where to do it. So if you're 8 and 9 are your defensive specialist players who might get behind one every once in a while, you're like, all right, let's do it. So I mean, I think center field is still open question. I think Josh Baez is going to have something to say about our outfield mix here over the next few months. But feeling pretty good with a Newt, Church, Walker outfield, at least for the foreseeable future. Yeah. I still have hope in Victor Scott, but take me to church, baby. He's back.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to say it directly, Victor Scott goes down to AAA. Nathan Church comes up to the IL, and it's essentially the starting center fielder going forward. I think it makes sense. I'm happy with this. I think we see just a little stronger at bats from Nathan Church. So obviously a little bit more pop, slight downgrade in center field, but nothing I'm worried about. And Victor Scott needs to work on something. Whether it's continuing the work he was doing at West Virginia in the offseason or something different, or moving his hands up or down or side to side, whatever it needs to be.
Wow. Gotta be one of those.
He should do it in AAA and not at the big leagues. It has to suck to carry that low of an offensive numbers in the majors. When I think Victor knows he is a Major League Baseball player. Like that mental grind has to be difficult.
I think you could see it sometimes just in his overall presence. Now, I'm not a big narrative guy or reading a guy, but there were times where he was walking up to the plate where it's just like he does not look happy to be there right now.
Right.
And so I'm hopeful he can go down and find some success again. And I suspect he'll get another shot at the center field job.
I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to figure something out. I think we'll see him again this season. I wish him the best of luck, I guess.
All right. Well, we mentioned it earlier, but this is kind of fun. Ali Marmol has been named part of Dave Roberts' coaching staff. I caught something that basically the Cardinals played really well against the Dodgers in that series earlier. Dave Roberts gets to be the manager because of the Dodgers last year, and he apparently was impressed by the Cardinals and by Marmol in that weekend series and helped make up his mind to ask Marmol to be a part of his coaching staff, which is fun.
Yeah. Marmol haters. Oh, You poor sons of bitches. No, I think it's great. I think I feel like we've been pretty pro Ollie
Yeah.
for a while, really since he stopped screaming at the press in post-game interviews.
Which was really only his first year.
Yeah.
I think my take on Marmol had been summed up in there. He had never done anything other than in his very first taste of being a manager that warranted him losing his job. I think
Yes.
all of the failures of the Cardinals and in his, not his management, but his outcomes has been that he was provided a bad set of resources.
Yeah.
And so we both thought it might happen just because it's not uncommon for new regimes to come in and install their own guys and things like that. But that was the only reason I thought maybe Marmol would be gone. On a pure on the field standpoint, it would not have made sense to get rid of him. He would have just walked into a managerial role somewhere else in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I mean, he's been great this year. I generally agree with his decisions. Everyone can nitpick in any individual, leaving a guy in or whatever. Like that's part of our rights as a fan, but like generally I think his decision making is consistent and the team is working well right now. And he's been provided a set of tools with clear expectations on how they're used. And he's doing it. So what more could you want? And obviously they're winning, so he gets picked to be an all-star manager, which is fun.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, I think I agree with everything you said. I have no complaints about Ollie, especially this year. It is you can see very clearly that him and Heim speak the same language. It seems like the players are having fun. Yeah, I mean, from an outside, it's one of those we never really know. Like,
yeah,
Ollie Marmol might be responsible for 6 wins on the year. He also might be responsible for -2 losses.
Right.
Like, I really don't know what a manager impact and like what he's really doing, but he seems prepared. Players like him. Dave Roberts was impressed by him. I think Dave Roberts is a fine enough manager. I'm pretty sure I could manage the Dodgers to the World Series. Hey, Shohei, keep doing that, buddy.
Hey,
let me stay out of your way.
Mookie, Freddie, Yamamoto, go out there and
Kyle
play well.
Tucker.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, good job playing well. I think I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah. Dave Roberts is going to go to the Hall of Fame based on, Andrew Friedman's ability to acquire every good player. But that's okay. That's all good.
He seems like a nice enough guy.
Sure. Remember in the World Series when he stole that base?
Yeah.
There you go. What else do you need?
What else do you need? All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Hambone, before we get to the second half of the show?
Nah.
All right. Well, we are going to talk about the upcoming series, cover a little bit of league news, and then play a little game. But before we do that, we want to remind our listeners that this show is listener supported on patreon.com. You hear how you never heard any ads? That's cool. That's because this show is listener supported on patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. If you want to support the show directly and the time and effort we put into bringing it to you every single week, we would love for you to check out the Patreon and consider subscribing. Subscribers at every level, every paid level, get access to the Birdscord. That's our private Discord server. We've talked about it a bunch on this show, but it's a great resource and a great place to hang while the Cardinals are playing well or not well. We also appreciate anyone who takes the time to leave us a review on their favorite podcast platform. And of course, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button if you're a new listener, and tell your friends, tell your family. Summer's heating up. People are starting to get into baseball who don't normally, or at least, they kind of sit out the first half, and this is when everyone else kind of comes in. It's a great time to share the show and help us grow the show. So, Hambone, where else can people find us online?
Yeah, check us out on all the socials. We got a Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. You can watch this episode on YouTube if you'd like to do that. You can look at Nate and I, looking at us, looking at you on YouTube.
You see me seeing you?
Find all the podcast information, t-shirts, and more at talkingaboutbirds.com. You can email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com. And of course, you can call us and leave a voicemail or send us a text message to 48 birds. That's 848-482-4737.
848 birds. And I've been putting it in the show notes, but I talked about it 2 weeks ago. If you're into daily word games, check out the game I made, Crossonym. It's at crossonym.com. All right, Hambone, we've got a couple series coming up, as you might expect. The Cardinals go to Minneapolis to play the Twins. What are you expecting to see out of this series? The Twins have not been a particularly successful team this year.
No, I mean, obviously they had the fire sale last year. Ownership is kind of in the wind. We'll see what happens there. And they have almost, as a rule, failed to develop any of their high-end prospects into becoming good regulars for a long time. So you kind of just get a bad team. Where's Brooks? Wasn't Brooks Lee supposed to be good? Wasn't Trevor Larnach supposed to be like the most powerful left-handed hitter of his draft class? Austin Martin is kind of just slapping the ball around. Luke Keishel is, everybody thought he was going to have a really nice year, is really just not having a nice year.
Yeah.
Royce Lewis is now a utility infielder. Need I say more? It's just all like, this is what, you trade your guys that are worth something. You don't develop a single prospect to save your life. And this is where you end up.
Yeah. They still have Byron Buxton, who stays healthy and is one of the most dynamic players in the game. But after that, yeah, Brooks Lee has been heating up a little bit. As you mentioned, he was there. He was the 8th overall selection in the 2022 draft. So was quite, highly touted. But yeah, it's over. I mean, they've got Josh Bell, that every teams have been chasing that dragon for 5 years now. And it just continues to not work really anywhere. He's had some moments, don't get me wrong, but
it's a load bearing Josh Bell. He's their number 4 hitter right now.
Yeah. You never want a load bearing Josh Bell.
I mean, if you're building a building and you have Josh Bell to be like, he's a big, strong man, but
sure.
For your offense,
no
good.
Let me see. Cody Clemens has been better than you probably realize. So, there's a few guys that can do some damage, but for the most part, this is a very, very beatable lineup. And then from a starting pitching side, well, what are the matchups? We can go from there.
Yeah. We got on the Friday game, Joe Ryan, who is their ace.
Yeah.
Joe Ryan against Kyle Leahy. On Saturday, we have Connor
Prelip.
Do you know? Okay. Prelip, who I have never heard of until this very moment, against Matthew Liberator. And then on Sunday, Taj Bradley against Michael McGreevy.
So we're seeing their best pitch. Joe Ryan is a legitimately good starter.
He's good. Yes. He's been good for a minute.
Yeah, he is one of the better starting pitchers in baseball. Again, low bar to clear, but if he was on the Cardinals, he'd be the best starter. And then there'd be like a couple steps down. And then, maybe Dustin May is getting close to that, but he's good. So that will be a tough matchup. Prelip is a rookie who sort of burst onto the scene and is getting some respect, but is brand new. And then Taj Bradley, you probably know his name. He's been around for a while with varying degrees. He's one of those guys that everybody has been chasing because he can suddenly strike out 12 people in a game. But he can also go 1/3 of an inning, giving up 7 runs, which he's basically done both of those for the Twins this year. So you just don't know which version of Taj Bradley you're going to get. So from a pitching standpoint, like this will be like a relatively good, even matchup. If not, the Cardinals may be underwater a little bit. But from an offensive standpoint, I don't think it's particularly close. So we'll see. Should be a good series for the Cardinals. Though.
Yeah. And the Twins bullpen has also not been great this season. They kind of have holes all over the place. I think the Cardinals are weirdly favored going into this, but it's the offense is the big differentiator there.
Yeah, absolutely. So after that, the Padres come to St. Louis for 3. Padres, what an interesting team. Tatis has hit a home run.
Yep.
So, he's gotten that off of his back. But it's just wild. Like, even if he just completely turns it on, he's now like, is he going to break 20 this year? Almost certainly no. He'd have to go completely buck wild in these last 3 months.
Which he could do.
He could do. He's hit 40 in a season. So,
yeah.
But yeah, what are you expecting from the Padres?
Well, what's so crazy is he still is hitting the ball extremely hard. He has 20 barrels on the season. He has over 50% hard hit rate, and somehow only has 1 home run.
The theory
doesn't make any sense.
I haven't looked at the numbers myself, but I saw or read something that is basically it's attack angle. It's the same thing that Jordan Walker dealt with. It's like he's hitting the ball really hard, but he's not hitting it up. So it's not leaving the ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. His bat speed, everything is still what it always was. He's just hitting the ball down. So yeah, looks like on Monday the Cardinals are going to face I kind of forgot this guy was even a Padre. Lucas Giolito against Dustin May.
Yeah.
Tuesday is Michael King against Andre Palante, and then Griffin Canning against Hunter Dobbins on the Wednesday game. We played these guys fairly recently. Like they're just in a weird spot right now. Nate was just talking about Fernando Tatis. Manny Machado's also had a really bad first half at this point. Just has not been good. They have some injuries. Cronenworth is still down. Looks like Laureano is going to be down for the remainder of the season. I don't know. They're a weird team. Like you said, though, they do have Mason Miller. They have him in between him, Jason Adam, and Adrian Morahone, arguably the best bullpen in baseball.
Yeah.
But they're a weird.
Michael King is a good starter. Giolito, we'll see. Griffin Canning has been serviceable. They've kind of done the model of just get it to the bullpen, please. And then that bullpen is so good. But yeah, it's a weird lineup. Tatis, Merrill, Machado, all having bad to mid seasons. Gavin Sheets is doing what he does, which is about every 3rd week he goes on a tear and then is bad. And it's like a bunch of guys you've probably never heard of. Will Wagner, Samad Taylor, Bryce Johnson, Freddie Fermin, and Sung Mun Song. It's like this is a star-studded team that is just not that right now. So hopefully the Cardinals can take advantage of it.
Yeah. They're 16 runs underwater on their run differential. Like, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to going against Michael King, and Griffin Canning has been able to put together some good starts, especially recently. Lucas Giolito, that's a total question mark. I have no idea what he's going to look like.
We are missing, we're both looking at roster resource, I imagine. We're missing Xander Bogaerts, who's just on paternity leave. He's had a pretty good season. So he'll probably be back by the time the game starts. Hilariously, they DFA'd Nick Castellanos, so we all love that.
He's got to be done soon, right?
He's got to be done soon. He gets kicked off one team, basically, picked up by another team, is given ample opportunity. Like they
clearly have the at bats for guys like Nick Castellanos on their team.
Yeah, and now they've let him go. So I don't know who's picking that guy up, but I don't know. He might get one more chance. I'm like, I don't know. I always lean towards the White Sox, but they actually have some more interesting players at this point. I don't know if they'd want to do something. It's like the Marlins is who he's going to end up on,
Yeah, but he's just also not good is the problem.
I know.
So probably not. I do the White Sox. I was talking to Mary has got some White Sox fans in her family. They're above water. They're having a good start to the season. The White Sox are fun baseball right now. They are second in their division. Munetaka Murakami, I think, is down right now.
He is.
But Miguel Vargas is legit. We haven't checked on Sam Antonacci in a minute. Davis Martin is having a good year. I don't know if you've noticed, but Eric Fetty is bouncing back a little bit, which is, of course, whatever. Okay. I was kind of just vamping to get a Antonacci update. He is at 15 hit by pitches, Nate. So he has had, what is that, 4 since we last chatted about him?
Yeah, I think so.
15 in 49 games. So we'll keep tracking that. He's going for the record, baby.
Yeah, we love it. I'm gonna get out there and hit him with a pitch just to help. All right. Let's seamlessly transition into league news.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, a couple of big injuries across the league. Aaron Judge has been diagnosed with a rib stress fracture and will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks, which is lame for baseball in general. I think the only thing that's kind of worth talking about is that does mean that we'll probably have a non-Aaron Judge MVP in the AL this year. If you had to pick your AL MVP that is not Aaron Judge right now, who are you going with?
Well, my preseason pick was Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
And he had a weird start, but he's been playing very, very well for a while now. So without looking at the actual leaderboard, I think I would still pick Bobby Witt Jr. just based off of skills and previous years. But I don't know. I'm assuming I'm missing someone who's actually like at the top of the chart right now.
So you're for the American League, the top of the fWAR chart is Bobby Witt Jr. and then it goes Yordan Alvarez, Dylan Dingler, Nick Kurtz, and then Ben Rice. I think, and I have the benefit of looking at the leaderboard right now. What Yordan Alvarez is doing right now is wild.
Yeah, he's like triple crown. That's exactly who I knew I was going to be missing someone on my first thought. And yeah, he's like triple crown pace right now, right? So I guess if that happens, it's a shoe-in. I think it's like regardless of anything else, if you win the triple crown, you're going to get the MVP, even if someone outpaces you in fWAR. I do think Bobby Witt being one of the best shortstops in baseball will, if at the end of the day, Yordan is not winning the triple crown and him and Bobby Witt have similar fWAR totals, I think Bobby Witt will win because people will vote for the guy who's a defensive expert as well. But obviously with what Alvarez is doing, if he stays healthy and keeps going, he has a pretty clear line right towards the MVP.
Yeah. He's pretty good. All right. And then also wanted to talk about
traded by the Dodgers for a reliever, by the way.
Yes.
So, the Dodgers can make mistakes too.
Yeah, that is a crazy one. And then he also signed a very team-friendly deal for the Astros. That worked out very well for them. Tarek Skubal to begin a rehab assignment. He could be reinstated after one start. I think what's crazy about this is how quickly he has turned around from getting those little loose bodies sucked out of his elbow. The fact that we're already talking about him coming back is kind of wild to me. And I feel like just because he is Tarek Skubal, he will come back sooner than later. What's crazy though, and we haven't really talked about this, is the Tigers are 28-39. So I really feel strongly that he is going to come back, try to prove that he is healthy, and then he is going to be a Yankee.
Yeah, it is happening. He is going to be traded, and it's going to be a huge deal. Unfortunately, Hambone, he's going to be a Dodger.
You think he's going to be a Dodger?
I think he's going to be a Dodger. They always have the prospect capital. They're always willing to do it. He's immediately the best player on, I think the Dodgers are just going to do it, and it's going to drive everyone fucking crazy because no one else is going to be willing to pay the prospect price because everyone else has to run like an actual organization. And the Dodgers can just do these sorts of things because it is what it is. But yeah, I think he's going to be a Dodger.
I think that there is no team in baseball with more pressure to win right now than the Yankees. It's been a while. They went to the World Series. Aaron Judge is only getting older. They have Cody Bellinger is 30 years old. Jazz Chisholm is going to be a free agent. What's Garrett Cole is back healthy right now, but they haven't done it in a while. I think the Yankees are poised to do it. How they pull it together, I don't know.
Honestly, I hope you're right. I don't want to. I would be fine. I'd be almost happy if the Yankees went and got Tarek Skubal over the Dodgers,
just think,
which is crazy.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Dodgers just don't give a shit and they'll just do whatever it takes. But I just think that the Yankees are in a situation where they have more to prove than the Dodgers.
Sure.
And pretty much any other team in baseball. They're playing really well right now. They're a solid team. They could always use more pitching. And, if you swap out, I don't know, Ryan Weathers for Tarek Skubal,
having a pretty good season.
Your team looks really, really good.
Yeah. And counterpoint to my own point, like if the Dodgers are looking at a healthy Yamamoto, a healthy Sasaki, who's starting to put it together, a healthy Snell, once the playoffs come up, they might feel like it's not worth it. But just the way they've operated for the last 5 years makes me think that they're just going to continue to do this sort of thing,
Yeah.
If they don't trade for him, then they're going to be the team that signs him after this offseason.
They have the best OPS and the best WHIP in MLB across the team right now. The only thing that is a slight blemish is for the Dodgers is that their bullpen ERA is not amazing. It is in the top 10, by the way, but it is not incredible.
No. Tarek Skubal is going to sign a 2-year, $125 million deal this offseason for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, you better get that in before the CBA is agreed. We'll see. But it is crazy that, everybody thought the Tigers were going to be a relevant team this year. And whether it is Skubal's injury or other things, they're absolutely not. And they're kind of so far out. I mean, they're 8 games back of Cleveland right now. Yeah. So my prediction is, and I think you agree with me, is that Skubal's out.
They're going to trade him. You don't have it on the list here, but I'll throw it in while we're talking about contracts. Did you see that the Brewers have done it again? They have given they've given Luis Lara a $31 million contract extension.
I did not see this.
He is a prospect who a couple years ago had some real heat, struggled, and then is back on the map. I believe he's a short king. And
5'7".
Yeah, 5'7". So he has we stand a short king. He has now has $31 million.
Wow.
Which, like, man, the Brewers are just doing the complete opposite of like what the Cardinals are doing. The Brewers are, because they did it with Pratt too, and they haven't even called him up. So they're just locking these guys. I guess they're thinking, if we do 5 of these deals and it costs us $200 million for the 5 of them, and one of them works out, then we've made our money, let alone if 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Some people were projecting him to get called up soon because of his performance, but just immediately signing him to a $31 million deal. Pretty wild.
He's got a 155 WRC plus in AAA for the Brewers right now across 57 games. Good for him. And I would love for the Cardinals to do something like this somewhere.
Yeah, the equivalent would, I guess it would be like if the Cardinals gave Baez right now like a $35 million deal. You know? Yeah.
Interesting. All right, final piece of news. The A's are playing, they're in the middle of a 6-game run at Las Vegas Ballpark. It's where the minor league team, the Aviators, play, which I've weirdly been to. Nice park. They have a bat dog there. It's very cute. I went there on dollar beer night.
Man, I heard bat dog and I was thinking like Batman. So they have they've got a bat dog there. But I guess you mean a dog that collects the bats.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cute.
It is
cute.
Like that. The day games are start to set with temps around 105 to 106. I don't know if you watched that game the other night that went like 14-15. Probably not, because it was over at like midnight 30
No.
Denver time. So I stayed up way too late. Watched the whole thing, but it's chaotic, hot baseball out there.
Hot baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's watching baseball at 106 degrees. You couldn't pay me to do that. I can't imagine playing.
They're going to do a dome, right? In Vegas?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, they have to.
No one's going to go to that. Yeah. All right, Nate, that's all I got for league news this week.
All right, Hambone, we're going to an oldie but a goodie. I don't think we've played this for quite a while. It's a game I call Trade, Start, Cut. A little play on,
Yeah, I get it.
A little different game.
You sick bastard.
A little saucier game. But not this one. This one is Trade, Start, Cut. So I'm going to give you 3 players. I've got them into some groupings here.
Okay.
And you have to decide who you would trade, who you would start, and who you would cut. Got it?
I got it.
Okay. I know it's complicated.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with young starters. You have to trade, start, or cut Liberatore, McGreevy, or Dobbins. And Dobbins.
Trade, start, cut. Wow, I can't believe what I'm thinking of saying. Trade, start, cut. This is why I'm not in a baseball front office. Is how I'm going to answer this right now. I would start Matthew Liberatore.
Okay.
I would. I mean, I feel like even though recency bias is really creeping up on this decision right now. But you know what? I'm going to lean into it. Be a chaos agent. I would trade. No. Okay. No. I would trade Michael McGreevy.
Okay.
I think that certain teams would value him. You get McGreevy in the right ballpark, like something like the Cardinals ballpark. Could probably be a good player for a little while. And then unfortunately, I would cut Hunter Dobbins. He's kind of
nice
old.
To know you.
Kind of old for a prospect.
All that nice stuff we said before, bullshit. We didn't mean any of it. Get him out of here.
Well, so I was really leaning towards trading Dobbins, because who wouldn't want to see, he's got some pretty nice stuff that who wouldn't go for that. But McGreevy's got more sustained success and might get more on the trade. But I will say, obviously, I'm keeping Liberatore around. I still believe in the ceiling. And maybe I'm foolish for that, but that's where I'm going.
All right, let's go into the bullpen.
Okay,
How about O'Brien, Soriano, and Graceffo? I'm not making it easy on you. I'm not doing any of the
no. This one is easy for me.
Free agents. Okay,
this one is easy for me. I trade Riley O'Brien.
Okay,
because I think he gets you a ton of value. He's a little too old, but the stuff is electric. It's
boogie woogie.
Yeah, it's boogie woogie. I think you can get a lot for O'Brien. People would be excited to acquire him. I am starting George Soriano. He's got a ton of controllability. He's only just starting to tap into that changeup and the nastiness.
Is controllability a word?
Controllability.
He's got a ton of controllability.
That can't be a word. He's controllable.
That's
probably a better way to say it. Yeah. The Cardinals have control. Controllability cannot be a word. That's if it is a word, it's a stupid word. That shouldn't be used. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, it does seem to be a word, controllability.
So like a remote control car has great controllability. What is
controllability? The ability to steer or dynamically steer a dynamical. Oh my God, I can't read. The ability to steer a dynamical system from any initial state to any desired state in a finite time period using admissible controls.
Interesting.
Sure. I think that sounds relevant to our discussion.
Anyways, he has a lot of control remaining.
Yeah.
And I would kick Gordon Graceffo Kick him off. Give him the stinky boot. See you later.
Yeah, gotta give him the stinky boot.
Yeah.
All right, these next two I think are going to be harder. I'm calling this the young core. Walker, JJ, Wynn.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this. I'm just gonna try to play this as shrewd and with as little emotion as possible. Because that's the only way I can really think to make a decision here. I'm going to start JJ Weatherholt. He's 23. He looks good. He's always looked good. He was one of the best prospects in baseball. Came to the big leagues. Continues to look like one of the best prospects in baseball.
Yep.
Great defender. You can play him at premium positions. You can even play him at short if you wanted to.
Wow.
I would trade.
Controllability is there.
Controllability is there. I would trade Jordan Walker because who in baseball would not pay a king's ransom for a 24-year-old behemoth that is doinking dongs all over the yard right now? Yeah. There's a lot of variability there. So, moving on from him, maybe the smart thing to do, capitalizing, selling him at his peak potentially. You go get yourself a nice player or two for Jordan Walker. And then unfortunately, I got to cut Mason Wynn, not because I want to, but because I think that JJ Weatherholt's probably a better player than Mason Wynn. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think that's the right play, as difficult as that is.
But I don't want them all three. I want all. Yeah. And trading
unfortunately
Jordan Walker would make me cry.
Fortunately we do. This is just a fake.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
So you don't have to cry. All right. So that's what I called the young core. This is what I'm calling the slightly older core, which is Alec Burleson, Ivan Herrera, and Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah, average age of 27 or whatever.
Yeah, if that, right? Probably somewhere in 26.
Yeah. God, shit.
Shit. Fuck.
I guess. I guess I trade Newt. No, he has no trade value right now. Wow. I guess I trade Alec Burleson.
Yeah.
Because he is we just talked about it. He's the third best first baseman in the National League right now. Boy can hit. Burley Biscuits. Who doesn't want Burley Biscuits in their locker room?
Right.
I think people would trade I'd get a great deal of good players for him. I guess I'd cut them heels, baby. I got to cut Lars Nootbaar. Who knows when that Heglin's deformity is going to come back? I don't want to sit around and wait for it. And then I'm keeping Ivan, and I guess I'm moving him to first base.
Yeah, I think there's an argument for trading Ivan with the current team comp, and the fact that we don't really need him to catch. And so now all of a sudden he's just a DH, and that's not particularly valuable.
If I get rid of Burley, I can put him in first.
True. Okay. I just got two more for you. Prospects. This is just the Cardinals' top 3 prospects according to MLB.com. Liam Doyle, Rynel Rodriguez, Joshua Baez.
Gosh. Okay. I am. Damn. I like all these guys, obviously. I guess that's the whole challenge of the game.
Yeah.
I am starting Rynel because he might be one of the best hitters the Cardinals have seen in quite some time. He's also small and punchy. He's 19. He's a hitter, which Liam Doyle is not, which really goes against him in prospect ranking valuations and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to keep Rynel. And I mean, if he can stay a catcher and hit like we think he might be able to hit, like that is a top tier player. I think I am trading. You said it was Baez, right?
Yep.
Baez is top 3 in MLB.com. I'm surprised by that.
Mm-hmm. That's the order. It's that order. Doyle, Rhinell, Baez.
I will trade Baez because, like, who doesn't want a house playing center field for them that can run and hit the ball the way he does? I think you can probably get a nice piece for Baez, even with the strikeout concerns. And I'm cutting Liam Doyle because, I don't know, he's probably going to get injured before he even comes up, if he ever comes up. And he's a pitcher, and who knows if we'll ever see him in the bigs.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Last one for you, Hambone. Dinger, Fred Bird, and Grimace from McDonald's.
Okay, well, we're a big Dinger household over here. So I'm starting Dinger. I think Dinger is good. We just went to his bobblehead night, and we were late to the game because somebody who listens to the show that I will not name, and we did not get a Dinger bobblehead. So,
oh my God, I'm certain I know who it is, and this is not surprising. And what a disappointment!
A slow-moving human being who shall remain nameless.
Does he love a pastry?
He does. So but anyways, I'm going to start Dinger. I'm going to.
I'm surprised you didn't snag one from like some kid when he wasn't looking or something.
I was looking for somebody who maybe like left them at their seat and they went to the bathroom or something like that, but I wasn't quick enough.
Just going to the bathroom too. mid game. It's fine.
Yeah. Your stuff is mine. Wow. I guess I'll cut Fred Bird because, I don't even really like Fred Bird all that much.
Wow.
Does he have any good bits?
Well, again, he did make fun of, he made fun of friend of the show, Brandon, in front of, hundreds of people. So he's earned a rock solid place in my heart because of that.
Forgot about that.
So
you know what? I'm going to do something out of character, and I'm going to stand for Brandon and say, because he did that, he deserves to be cut. And
it is out of character, and we all know you're lying right now.
Sit down to AAA or whatever for eternity. And then I'm going to trade Grimace because I think I could probably get some. Maybe I'm trading him back to McDonald's, and I can get some free hamburgers or French fries or something like that.
Oh, sure.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Trade Start Cut or Start Trade Cut.
What a game.
If you have a different opinion on any of these, let us know in the Birdscord or send me a text message 848-48-BIRDS. Would you have done something different than Hambone here? Interested to hear your take. And that is going to do it for this week of this episode. Hopefully the Cardinals keep their streak going and we have more good baseball to talk about next week. But either way, we'll be here next week, as we are every week, bringing you another episode. Check out all of our links at talkingaboutbirds.com. Shout out to the patrons. Consider joining the Patreon. Thank you to all of them. And if you're even thinking about it, thank you. And we will see you next week. And until next week, go Cardinals.
Go Birdie Boys.